Hey, Kerry here with Best of Us Investors. I've told you many times that the stock market is controlled by events. And if you can identify those events and then predict what's going to happen in the future as a result of those events, you gain an advantage in the stock market. I have shared with you that I believe the most important event in the stock market's history, at least in my lifetime, is the coronavirus, how it's going to change how you and I live, and the companies then that are going to be involved in that change and facilitate that change. And that's how I build my portfolio. Well, I think we just this week experienced another event that is going to change the stock market as you and I understand it. And now what we have to do is figure out how we want to position ourselves to take advantage of it. Again, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. We have a tribe. Before I did this video, I shared the thumbnail and the title of it with my audience, with my tribe, and asked them, how do you think you are going to be affected by this GameStop phenomena? I want to share with you in this video what they said and what I believe is going to happen as a result of the GameStop phenomena. If you want to be a part of this exchange, go to bestofusinvestors.com. Give me your name and your email address, and I'll send you a link to our Discord, and then you can be a part of it. Okay, let me gather my thoughts, and I'll be right back with you.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Some of the responses I got were, I think there's going to be a change in the rules. I don't doubt that one bit. Another one said, I think the stock market is rigged. I don't think it's rigged, but I do think that there are advantages to those big institutions who have taken the exchange, the marketplace of me buying a stock from you, and have created derivatives that give them an advantage over us. They took a simple marketplace, if you will, and turned it into an extravaganza that gives them some advantages. I think that is something that is going to change. That small forces can make big changes. Basically, what they're saying there is that one guy by the name of Keith Gill, a 34-year-old who used to work for Mass Mutual and as an analyst, but moved his operation into the basement of his rented home and started a YouTube channel called Roaring Kitty. And back in June of 2019, he believed he saw a stock that was undervalued by the name of GameStop, and he started building a position in it at $5 a share. That's what basically started this phenomena. And you know the phenomena. You know that he basically engineered a short squeeze on hedge funds who were trying to take advantage of a stock that they believed was going to go bankrupt. They bought it at $25 or sold it, borrowed shares and shorted it at $25 a share, and now are being caught in a squeeze as the people who follow Keith Gill became a tribe, if you will, and basically captured the shares and are refusing to sell them to the hedge funds who are being caught in a margin position. And two of them are facing bankruptcy as a result of it. In addition to that, the reactions by some of the brokers like Robinhood have been put in a tight position and are basically reacting to it that they may get sued. All of this is an event. It's an event that really transpired, if we go back to the beginning of it, June of 2019, but came to the front this past week. So what do I believe that the end result of this will be? One of my tribe members mentioned the word blockchain, and that really caused me to start thinking. What has really happened, and I alluded to it earlier, the stock market used to be a market where you and I, and this was many, many years ago, could show up and say, I own, and literally it used to be that when you bought a stock, you got a certificate. And you could sell that stock to someone else by signing it on the back of the certificate and thus transferring ownership, much as a home or a car. You could transfer ownership to the new possessor of those shares. Now, if you wanted to cash in your shares, you would literally send them to the company, and the company would send you a check for the value of those shares at the time you redeemed them. That then turned into a brokerage house who became the place you would take your stock certificate. That's how simple it was. It was like buying an orange at the grocery store. But it has changed. And that was the birth of Wall Street, which created the centralization of exchanging stocks. And as a result of that centralization, we came up with derivatives, options, secured certificates. It even got into where mortgages are now bundled and sold as a package. All of this has created these derivatives that create these bizarre situations. That's what created the GameStop phenomena. My belief, what is going to happen is blockchain's going to come into the stock market. And why is that? Because you gain strength in numbers. Because you and I come together and say, hey, we found a weakness. I wasn't a part of that, but Keith certainly was. We found a weakness within the system. We found that these greedy hedge funds have actually shorted the shares of GameStop to the amount greater than the number of shares out there. We realized that if we can gain possession of those shares that they need to get out of their short position, we control them. This is just like the tulip bazaar that happened in Holland. I think it was back in the 1800s, or maybe it was the 1700s. You gain control of a commodity, and then you literally control the price of that commodity. You basically say, no, I won't sell it back to you for $25 a share. What will you sell it back to me for? 300? Oh no, I'm not going to pay you 300. Okay. So somebody else will. So I literally see that there was an exchange of one share at a time, from $25 a share up to $50 a share, up to $100 a share, up to $200 a share, up to $400 a share. So you and I are exchanging them back and forth and not letting the hedge funds in to get out. So what happens to them? Well, they are now borrowing these shares and buying them on margin. So as the posted value of the stock, the GameStop, goes from $15 to $30, they're underwater. So what does the broker do? He says, you must sell something else to cover your debt, your margin. Well, we've got Amazon, we've got Google, we've got Tesla, and that's why you saw the value of the high tech stocks go down last week because these hedge funds were caught with their pants down. They really were. Now, what's going to happen eventually? They'll go bankrupt. They're going to put the brokerage firms in a very jeopardized position because the people are refusing to sell them the stock to get them out of the position they're in. So, how does that all unfold? I'm not sure, but I think there's some bankruptcies in the future. And then I wouldn't want to be sitting with a bunch of GameStop shares at $460 a share if there are no buyers. And once the hedge funds are out of the equation, there are no buyers. So that's my warning to them. But my opportunity to you is blockchain. We're going to see a total revamping of how the stock market is run. Now, this won't happen over the next week. It won't happen over the next month. But this is going to happen again. And the people, you and I, the tribe, are going to recognize the fallacies within the structure that Wall Street has built. It's happened before. It was the recognition of the fallacies of the collateralized mortgage instruments in 2008 that caused that crash. It was one of their derivatives that were improperly structured that brought the market down. Okay? Is this a reoccurrence? Is this basically saying the market's going to crash because of this? I don't think so, because I think it's isolated to a few very greedy people, and they are called hedge funds. They are called the establishment. There is a whole movement. This is part of a movement that I believe is happening, and I first read about it, I guess it was somewhere in early 2019, when I read this book, The Generation of Psychopaths, How the Baby Boomers Betrayed America. And it basically goes into the premise that the baby boomers basically are greedy. They think only about themselves. And they basically have said to Generation X, their children, and even beyond that, the millennials, their grandchildren, and Generation Z, their great-grandchildren, screw you. I'm going to live my life at the fullest at your expense. And we see that in our antiquated infrastructure. We see that in how they went and out of town and built their big McMansions, the word you don't hear a whole lot anymore, behind gates so that they could live within their community and keep the undesirables out and let the undesirables squander and try to survive on what they left. That's all changing. And we just saw evidence of it this last week. So how do we as investors take advantage of that? I'm not quite sure just yet, but I think if we put our heads together, we can figure it out. And so what I'm inviting you to do is much like, first of all, get the copy of the Wall Street Journal this weekend and tuck it away in a drawer somewhere, because in 5 years, this is going to be the start of something big. Their first headline was Wild Stock Ride Tests Robinhood. And then down here, The Man Who Drove GameStop Mania. This is an event. It's not as big as the corona crisis, but this is an event. This is the beginning of change. And you as an investor need to stay on top of it. Follow it closely and understand the opportunities it will present. If this is the kind of video that you want to get involved in, and you want to get involved in predicting what's going to happen in the future and so that you can benefit it, go to bestofusinvestors.com. First of all, as Graham says, smash that like button. It helps my algorithm. Graham, it sure has helped your algorithm. And then subscribe. So that you get, and ring the bell so you get notified when I make a new video. If you want to become a part of all this, go to bestofusinvestors.com, leave your name and your email address. I'll send you an invite to our Discord, and you can follow my portfolio. You can see how I'm doing it, and maybe you can even get involved like some people did this morning in putting this video together. What I did was 30 minutes before I put it out, I went to my Patreon group and I said, this is the video I'm going to do. I want you to help me build it. And I got a list of suggestions, and that's how this video was built. Okay, that's Best of Us Investors. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. It's Sunday. No, today is Saturday. The video will come out Saturday. Nita and I are going out to a late lunch, and so you have a good day. I'm certainly going to.